Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 323. I am your host, Reid Murphy. It is good to be back. Feel refreshed here with the one and only host of the 323 College Shame Day, Scott Ellia. And we're just feeling good. We're feeling refreshed. It's a beautiful day here in Virginia. Probably, I guess, the most beautiful day of the year by far. We've been off for a couple weeks because the Super Bowl and the NFL season and college football season just completely eliminated us. It's completely wiped us out. But we're back. There's a lot happening in sports, including NFL offseason. There's a lot of NFL offseason talk to get to, but we're going to get to everything. We're going to get to basketball. Scott, we're only a few days into March, and there's already madness. The tournament hasn't even started. And we're getting madness in a variety of ways with college basketball. One of the biggest ones coming from Western Michigan. Western Michigan basketball over the past weekend with this insane ending to their last game.
Western Michigan has had dialed up. It's a football route at this point. 1.6 on the clock. The heave. Oh my goodness! The tap in to win!
That's insane.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Anthony Crump ices it.
Wow.
A full court bounce pass to win the game.
Well, it's like, how is he not marked? Like, where was his man? I mean, if you replay that, you can see the guy who was right there next to the basket just completely walks away from him and just
Western Michigan has
doesn't
had
eat with no regard.
It's a football route at this point. 1.6
Yeah,
on
that's
the clock.
exactly
Yes,
right.
it is. Yeah.
Look,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness, the tap in to
Nothing.
win! Are you kidding me?
That
And
is some
he's-
safety play that Ed Reed would love to see on the basketball court. He just sat back there on the line, just waited for it to get back to him, and he took advantage of that shot.
That's 100% true. That would be a court stormer. There's been a lot of talk about a storm in the court this past week. That would be a court stormer if it hadn't been for fucking Duke. It's always Duke. Why does it have to be
Always.
Duke? A Duke player getting allegedly hurt during one of the court storming operations. How do you feel about court storming or field storming in general?
I'm for it under certain conditions. Like if you're storming the court, you're storming the field for like you beat a team that you should have already beat. Like if it was like, but if it was like some massive like rivalry game with like huge historic implications, or if it's some like crazy Cinderella story that happened, like I'm for it at that point. Like your fan base should be allowed to, you know, celebrate with the team in that kind of a regard. But I think in a general sense, just in the nature of the world today, I mean, we touched up on it, you know, a couple weeks ago about what transpired at the Kansas City parade for their Super Bowl win. I think there's just a hyper focus on not only player safety but fan safety. It's what's going to happen is you're going to have a Malice at the Palace part 2, and there's going to be some all-out brawl on the court, and that's going to completely nix any storm forming from then on out. But I think if they're able to do it in a safe manner, go for it.
I think this past time and the incident that happened between Duke and Wake Forest, you can't do. I get that it's Duke, but Wake Forest was a 2-point favorite in that game. You can't storm the court. You can't storm the court if you were a favorite.
Right. And like really the only tie to that is just, you know, how connected those two institutions have been. You know, Wake Forest is only maybe 45 minutes, an hour away from Raleigh and Durham. I mean, yeah, it's more of a geographical kind of thing. But yeah, you come into the game as a favorite and you win. Cool.
Right.
That you handle the business like you should have been there.
Exactly. Well, look, somebody who handles business, especially in college basketball, she'll be handling her business in the pros soon enough. Caitlin Clark, Iowa superstar. She is officially headed to the WNBA. She's going pro. Made her goodbye letter the other day, and she made a huge mark this past Sunday. She passed Pistol Pete Maravich. I love calling him Pistol Pete. Makes me feel like Chris Mad Dog Russo. She passed Pistol Pete Maravich as the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history. Not women's history. Men's history, too. She is the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history. How great is she going to be for the WNBA, Scott? And, I mean, possibly even the NBA, if you're talking about it. We just saw the NBA All-Star game. They had Sabrina Ionescu come in and compete in the three-point contest. It's looking a little lucrative when you have somebody like Caitlin Clark come in and maybe do some NBA stuff.
Yeah, I actually, now that I never thought about it until this very second, but I think with how many issues that the NBA All-Star game had not like the skills competitions and like kind of the celebrity games and the 3-point, but there is a big issue with the dunk contest now and the All-Star game itself. I think it would actually be a really cool thing for the WNBA and the NBA to do an integrated All-Star game and actually have the teams mixed with men and women from both sides. I think that would be actually a really cool thing to kind of help promote and get a platform for the WNBA as a whole. But for her, you're always looking for that one breakout star, that one big name who's going to come out and, put a team on the map or put, a league on the map. And I think she has gathered such a huge following, not just with women, but also with men who really love basketball. I think she's going to do really good things for the WNBA.
I think she's going to be an incredible I don't go out of my way to watch college basketball at all. Men's basketball, women's basketball. I could not care anytime before March. I have gone out of my way several times to watch Iowa women's basketball games to see Caitlin Clark play. I will absolutely be doing the same thing wherever she lands in the WNBA. I mean, you see the lines and the ticket sales for Iowa basketball right now because of her. It's going to be insane. And I think the NBA trying to integrate a little more of the WNBA stars now over this past year, especially over the past year and past 2 years, has been to prepare for somebody like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers before them when she was like the biggest star of them. You want to start getting that integration now so it doesn't look like you're just doing it for Caitlin Clark to get Caitlin Clark in these games and stuff. But she will be a massive draw. She's going to be a big time. And I think that would actually be an awesome save for the All-Star game, like you said, to actually integrate the players and have like mixed teams or something for it. Because I mean, it was shit. I didn't watch any of it. I watched a little bit of Saturday night, the Saturday night skills tournament, and mostly for the Steph Sabrina battle. But it's just, yeah. And I don't know if you could start doing like 3-on-3 games where you're mixing in some of the WNBA All-Stars into those teams, or doing like King of the Court or something like that. But she is going to be a huge profit maker for the WNBA and basketball as a whole. There are a lot of young girls who are watching her now who want to be like her. A lot of my young kids and young girls are playing basketball heavier and harder during daycare because their parents are watching Caitlin Clark games and they want to be like her. She's going to be huge for the sport. I'm very excited for her to get into the pros and to see what she does to the WNBA. If only the Mystics could be so bad. If only. Now, somebody currently in the pros has been in the pros for 21 years now. LeBron James, first player in NBA history to score 40,000 points. Where does he rank all time for you, Scott?
Top 3? I don't have him. I mean, he has to be top 3 at least. I still don't give him 1. 2's kind of a stretch, but I think for me, his ceiling's 3.
Yeah. The thing with LeBron is just like he's unstoppable. He in prime LeBron, peak LeBron, unstoppable, an unstoppable size, something that you're not ever going to see with that speed. But for him to be at his current age, if he's not 40, he's damn near 40. At 39, something around there. For him to be playing at the level that he's still playing, his defense is shot. He's not playing at a defensive player of the year level anymore.
He doesn't need to.
You can attack him freely, but he can still just hold up an offense. And there's no reason that he should be at this age. And he's still like the powerhouse of that team. Even when you have somebody like Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves and whatever on that team, LeBron is the one that you're looking to. I mean, they're talking about him possibly getting a 2-year, 9-figure extension to stay with the Lakers, which I think if he's going to stay with the Lakers, psst, that's a sign that Bronny's going to stay at USC. Stop putting him in mock drafts and making LeBron mad, even though he's the one that started the whole talk.
Don't get me started on that guy. No, and because one thing that LeBron has always done, whether or not he came out right when he came out of high school all the way to now at 39 years old, is when he's on the court, you have to account for him, regardless of his age. And you're going to have a lot of these people who are going to, speak ill against him as a player. Off court stuff aside, his Twitter account to the side, him as a player itself, like that 40,000 point number is amazing. Congrats, LeBron. That's awesome. Ever since I've really watched the NBA, he's always been a part of it. Going back, what you said, 20, 21 years now. I mean, I can remember that the draft night when he got drafted, it was him and Carmelo and all of them and Chris Bosh and all of them. But you're going to have all these people saying, oh, it's only because he played 20 plus years. Okay, isn't that a physical feat within itself? Like, what players? It's the Tom Brady effect. It's just like you're playing for so long, people just get so accustomed to seeing there on the court. It's just it has to be something that should be celebrated. But yeah, the Bronny talk needs to stop.
What you're saying is 100% true, that it's something that needs to be celebrated. But that's how sports fandom works. We never appreciate greatness until it's, not on the court or on the field anymore. I mean, that's what happened with Brady. Like, as much as I couldn't stand Tom Brady throughout my entire childhood, being raised on football and raised on Tom Brady, I missed him this past year. It was weird not seeing Brady in games.
It creates a vacuum. It creates a hole in the whole just league itself. Like you said, this is the first year without Tom Brady, and you're like, now what do we do?
Right. And the NBA will move on after LeBron. I mean, I'm sure people had the same thought process with Michael Jordan when he was getting towards the end. Somebody will come along, maybe not on that level, but some greatness will appear after him. But his greatness should be celebrated. What we're watching is unheard of. What we're seeing is unheard of. I will forever think about, I think he was with the Cavs when he did this like full across the court speed to deflect a layup against whoever they were playing in the finals. And it was just one of the most insane clutch moments I've seen. And I was like, this is fucking LeBron. Like, this is the king that they're always talking about. This is what you want. And I'm excited to celebrate him. I hope whenever he does retire, he does the whole retirement tour like Kobe Bryant did. Not like Tim Duncan just retired and said, they were like, are you coming back next year? He's like, no. And they're like, wait. I want the whole tour. I want the whole celebration to happen.
Well, and it's funny that you bring that up because he was asked about if he would want that whole farewell tour, and he said something offhand that like that's not what it's about. I'm like, bullshit. You want the spotlight. You've wanted the spotlight for the last 20 years. There's no way on this earth that you would announce your retirement a year ahead of time so you can have your whole farewell tour. It's not going to happen.
Not a chance. Not a chance.